share their work quickly and simply to the public. Since then, their ideas spread to over 700 cities around the world. Every PechaKucha house, creative thinkers come together and share their ideas within 20 images shot for 20 seconds each. PechaKucha, a fast-forward format. Find a location, join the conversation.
On that note, I'd like to introduce Monica Mazzolani, who is a practicing architect in Milan and the co-curator of UAE Modern.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the PechaKucha by Alserkal and UAE Modern. Let me say something about UAE Modern. UAE Modern was launched for the Design Week 2017 to open a discussion on the role of a legacy of modern architecture inspiring the UAE identity. And the second edition, in 2018, UAE Modern has decided to shift in the broader subject of sustainability, seen as a binding value that will help bridge the past and the present to the future through design innovation. The 19th century, the mantra was "Make it new," which is the title of our PechaKucha tonight, because the urgency was to redefine the rules, all the rules. Today, we have to tune on something else, because across the 20th century, it meant embracing modernity as a break with the past, seen as a standing block to be removed to promote innovation. Today we have a different sensibility toward the past, because we are aware of its role of foundation in establishing any possible future. Make it new means today to adopt a creative approach that allows an intertwine a new dialogue among past, present, and the future. Any space, material, function, technique that already exists can in fact be included in a new idea of design process, or just for its potential. In other words, the design itself transforms projects, shifting from linear to a circular one. This is the focus of the PechaKucha tonight. I have to thank our partner, Spain, and introduce the speaker. We will have 8 speeches. Sophie Johnson is a designer, educator, and PhD candidate. She taught across London many design university and now at the Canadian University of Dubai. And her speech will be on sustaining national identity. Priyanka Soni, born and raised in UAE, and her colleague Rima Chalha graduated from American University of Sharjah. They will speak about embracing sustainability through interior design. Emanuela Corti is a product designer born and raised in the heart of the design and manufacturing district in northern Italy, and she is a founder, together with her husband Ivan Parati, of Caravans, and she's the brain behind Sensual, which is a collection of smart clothing that she will present tonight. Sensual is the name. And Hussein Al-Jabi is a product and experience designer and a gallery exhibit artist with an architecture background, using design, art, and psychology for using several mediums to express. And the name of the speech will be Sustainability of Social Interaction. Maya Kozel is the principal designer of Maya Kozel Design, a spatial design studio based in UAE. Her design focuses on ensuring that the client can enjoy every experience in each space. She was born in Netherlands, attended the prestigious Wilden Koning Academy, from which she graduated with a degree in spatial design. After applying her trade first in Netherlands and Hong Kong, Maya moved to Dubai, where she continued practicing her craft. And the name of the presentation is The Construction Reconstruction. And Jason Carlo is a award-winning designer and educator. His design work and research has been published widely and exhibited internationally venues such as Biennale of Architecture in Venice. And prior of joining AUS, where he taught right now, he taught in the University of Hong Kong for 10 years. The name of the speech will be Make It New, Make It Compact. And Agnes Coltai has a master's degree in architecture and the second master in facade engineering. She worked with Zaha Hadid and many other international engineering firms in facade engineering. She has an office here in Dubai and another in Singapore. And the name of the speech will be Future of Transportation in That City. And Zeki Kabirbegoglu in Turkey, leading architectural lighting designer for over 28 years of experience. After co-founding Total Lighting Corporation and worked as head of design for 70 years, he founded ZKLD, Light Design Studio in Istanbul. He's a member of Turkey International Committee on Illumination, has always been prominent among the lighting, design and architectural community. The speech of tonight will be Light and Beyond. Thank you.
Which for me is always the interesting part, because here you can see the beauty of the materials which are used on site. So with the building that's already there. This is after the construction, obviously. So we wanted to keep it very minimal in materials. So stripping down the layers and applying only where it's necessary. The lighting needs to work, and acoustics, and to work with as many as possible of the views. For example, here at the entrance, we used one of the materials from the exterior as well to bring it inside and to have the spacious flow of views to the courtyards, which is in the middle and on the front of the area. And the courtyard is openable as well to the interior. Therefore, you have a complete flow of in and outside, which is something that in the office is quite useful. Like, for example, if you have clients, you have a meeting in and outside, and all the focus is on the courtyard. The other project is Historiology, which was in Porto Rashid. So here it was actually quite cool to work with containers. So we had 2 raw containers to work with. What you're going to do with that, because there's not many layers that you can strip off. This is again a side picture. I love side pictures because here you can see how much structure actually needs to be done to make something interesting and beautiful, and yet homely for a cafe space. So for Rashid, the strip, it's all containers. It's going to be temporary. And this is the view on how it's going to look, how it looks now. Again, something very warm, cozy, inviting. So something that was a container first is now something you can actually enjoy your coffee and your cake in, which is something quite nice. Like here, the views amazing. That's why we wanted to have a big open window upstairs and downstairs to really enjoy the view of the Portelaarschot. Another beautiful example is Cinema Akil, which is actually in Alserkal Avenue in the corner. So this is what happened the first time. So okay, but let's get started. So the owner, Hosseina Kazem, and together with the project Chaiwala, has asked me to help them out on the interior part. Chapoa has done the concept pop-up last year, so we continued that concept from last year. So we worked a lot with a very low budget. So for example, reupholstering old sofas which were donated. We had chairs from another cinema, and to incorporate the project Chaiwala, which is Indian bites and snacks in the front part. And this was such a fun project to work on with the team because it's all about creating that cozy atmosphere into an industrial area, which I think worked out pretty well. Some products that I've worked on, this is for Search for Water, which is actually a charity. They ask every year, they ask designers to design a product. For example, a bookshelf, a table. This year it's going to be light, multifunctional. And what I like to do is to work with materials which are based in the UAE. So scrap materials, repurpose, reuse, instead of buying something from abroad, because that's the most sustainable way of working with it. So together with the contractor, Hansa, we looked at their junkyard, like what do you have left? And this is what we worked with. Like for example, broomsticks. This was in 2016. Designed a cabinet with just the materials that were there in the yard. And we worked on the concept together to come up with an idea. This was the end result. So it's a bookshelf that you can place in different ways. And also, I want the most sustainable word for this product because we try to minimize the use of glue, paint, nails, and everything like that. We have Hunter Douglas who gave us the material as well for the baskets. This was last year. It was a lighting, which I teamed up with Hanan, which was an amazing one because we made everything from drainage pipes, drainage from Gebrit. So they donated us their drainage pipes, like what to do with the drainage pipe, because that's where water goes. So we designed a light fitting that was connected with 3D printed pieces, and the light lifts up the piece in the front so that it's like a reflection of the light. And this can be readjusted and reapplied. Well, thank you very much.
How these different patterns have begun to change, and how we understand
our understanding of what we associate home to be, and the importance that home is for different types of people. If we start to study the plans, the urban environment, the geography, the landscape, we can see things that have changed over a period of time. Spaces, this image on the left-hand side is of a quite large governmental housing development, and the image on the right-hand side is one from several decades ago. So we begin to look at spatial awareness and how it's begun to change, and how those changes in space mean that we use those spaces differently. This image that you see at the bottom is an aerial view of that kind of previous development. So we've gone from quite an organic nature where housing has been laid out into a quite rigid one, which we can obviously tell has had an influence from the West, if you like, in terms of planning. So you can see originally how it used to be with the kind of small alleyways between buildings, which allowed for social interaction from ladies moving from different houses to children moving in the neighbourhood. And slowly those elements of the space changes have made the layouts different and have made people use the spaces differently. This image here goes some way to show the rigid element of an average city, which has started to happen here. This happened in the kind of 1960s, that the street scenes became less organic and much more rigid. These images, I suppose I'm a bit of a kind of sucker for the romantic images that we sort of see in old Dubai and kind of changed. And we start to see these two images show an idea between modernisation, lifestyle patterns, and kind of architecture at the same time. My research starts in, I suppose what I'm looking at really is the last kind of 60 years from when the very first housing was built in terms of policies from a government perspective. So we tend to see this study over, if you like, the last 40 years of how housing has changed. My interest is not in the architecture as such, although that's very valid and kind of it has a point, but more about the cultural and social spaces that have changed from the interior, and to some extent have been lost in certain ways. If we consider that, as I said, working backwards, the last few images are about understanding the UAE's kind of relationship with heritage and how it's advertised to an extent. We know all over the UAE there are several heritage villages which begin to show us ways in which cultural practices were, and so that we can see and experience them. What I'm suggesting by looking at the plans and the urban environment is that we can have a much more perhaps authentic understanding of these cultural experiences in their natural environment, looking through the architecture and the urban kind of environment. This relationship between heritage and kind of the value of heritage, particularly I suppose the practices and the rituals and the understanding and the architecture, has obviously been around since the independence of the UAE, and is kind of incredibly important. And we have, as I said, these kind of images show here, the juxtaposition between the very modern Dubai and the UAE in general that we kind of all understand, and the more traditional element that we perhaps is often quite lost against the kind of the gleaming. The understanding of heritage, if we look at it from a kind of global context, is this idea that a lot of the Western approach to heritage is big monumental buildings that make a statement of the past, as opposed to the undescribed buildings which tell us something about the people and the identity. Architectural history in terms of heritage is obviously well recognised, and it was often used to celebrate in different countries both the culture and the society, if you like, of the people. And what I'm sort of suggesting through my research is that that should be celebrated here in the ordinary, as opposed to the monumental architecture. There's a lot to be seen in the ordinary domestic living patterns that can tell us something about the national identity.
what? Tonight I'm not going to tell you that either. I'm going to talk about something completely different, something that I have strong feelings about, and that's the future of transportation in dense cities. Because we do not live in a two-dimensional world. This image may suggest that, but actually this is how we live. We live in high-rise buildings. You go home, take the elevator up, go left or right. It's a true three-dimensional living. I actually have been here since 2005, so I've seen most of these buildings grew up from ground. And I'm very excited about the opportunities high-rise buildings can give. And I'm not the only one. There were much more famous architects who were excited about high-rise buildings. Corbusier had this idea of a living machine, a building that has all the functions, so you don't even need to leave it. And that reflects in the rich mixed-use high-rise building design, when you can have a swim in the morning on the 18th floor, go work on the 40th, and live on the 52nd. But this recycling of people within the same building is not how cities work. You want to work for a better office in another district, or visit your friend somewhere else. So we have to commute in between these three-dimensional units, and that commute takes place in two-dimensional using the existing city road grid. And that's what I see as an obstacle of the growth of modern cities, including polygonal, polycentric cities. The two-dimensional traffic, which has consequences in traffic jams, and this is how many of us are spending our days frustrated in traffic, versus the three-dimensional living. Flying in between skyscrapers is not a new idea. It has been depicted in sci-fi movies, in sci-fi novels. Yet, if you look out of the window, you don't really see too many people flying around. So there must be some feasibility barriers. And I tried to look into what these feasibility barriers are. And I found 8 of them. 2 of them I will talk about in detail. The third one is actually the level of government support, the complicacy of certifications. It can help, or it can slow down progress, research, innovation. Some of the other feasibility barriers are more technical related. Emission, noise, complicacy of pilot training. These can be overcome by research. And actually electrical propulsion aircrafts are a good direction forward. It brings another feasibility barriers, the limitations of the current battery technology. So let's talk about the first one, safety. The fear of accident. Is it really something justified, or is it just that we are comfortable the way how we are living, and it's difficult to change and difficult to go to next generation? So let's analyze how an accident looks like. You are driving and someone comes opposite to you in the same lane, and you have 2 options. You can go left or right. So you look left, it's a cliff, and you look right, and it's a constant flow of traffic. So that's it, you have no more options. The accident happens. Whereas in the air, you actually have a much wider range of opportunities to avoid collision. You can go left, you can go right, up, down, a little bit left, a little bit right. Actually, so many options that the human brain cannot process it. So you need to rely on a computer, or even better, 2 computers simultaneously backing up each other, analyzing the most optimal way and direction to avoid a collision, which sounds much safer to me. Let's also talk about landing, boarding, and deboarding, because this has the most architectural impact. Currently, the companies intensely involved in this field are focusing on an on-demand taxi service. So that would necessitate landing pads scattered around the city, but with walking distance from each other, so users can easily find one in reach. And a second step, there could be individual personal air travel, for which you will have even more architectural impact. Maybe the balconies can be used as for boarding and deboarding if the balustrade is designed appropriately. Or maybe the basement car parking will be obsolete, and instead of that we will have drone garages tucked on the building with doors on the facade, or maybe we will utilize the roof. So I'm actually not the only crazy person thinking about it. There are over a dozen companies actively researching and building vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. I will mention a few of them. Kitty Hawk holds already a number of patents in the US. Lilium has a jet-driven aircraft piloted. Uber is heavily interested in rolling out an on-demand taxi service. They don't have their own aircraft. They are using vehicles from Airbus and Joby. Joby has the aircraft with rotatable propellers, so it can fly vertically and horizontally. And there are some drone-like devices. These are autonomously driven without a pilot. They are smaller, more lightweight, but they fly slower and lesser range. These two, EHAC and Volocopter, has actually been trialed in the UAE as well. So, as you may see, the future may not be that distant. Maybe the future is tomorrow, and maybe architects and facade engineers should start thinking of three-dimensional traffic solutions, and maybe we should start future-proofing our buildings to be better sustainable. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Priyanka and this is my colleague Rima. We are graduate interior architects from AUS, the American University of Sharjah, and we are here to share with you our design and build renovation project from AUS. Our client, the Office of Sustainability, approached us with a brief to sustainably renovate their office. Their requirements were to provide working stations for 2 permanent and 4 part-time employees, with minimum storage facilities and a lounge breakout area with no bulky equipment. Being a part of the design and construction industry, we recognized that great amounts of waste was being generated alongside the construction process. So our sustainable design approach was to use these waste materials from construction waste stacks like rebar, wooden joists, glass pipes, and to provide them with a second life. With wood being the primary material salvaged, acknowledging the material's source and the patina that it acquired in its former life, various prototypes were generated to explore their structural capability with dimensional constraints, and while others focused on creating mechanical systems without external hardware. The bigger question remains though, how do we translate these abstract concepts into an actual operational office? The spatial design as a whole focused to rethink how a normative office culture operated. We were now designing for employees who were no longer fixed in one position because of the switch from fixed desktops to laptops, which gave us the opportunity to provide alternate work retreats to encourage productive bursts of activity. We focused on a collaborative work style versus an individual one for an office space that would adopt a paperless work ethic. Rima, if you could walk us through the layout and tell us a little bit more about the design elements.
Sure. So the wooden shelving system that is present at the entrance acts as a partition that sort of aligns the person entering to the room directly into the view. And the focal central piece in the room is a concrete communal table, and at the far end of the room is a lounge area. Since wood being the main primary salvaged material that we got from construction waste sites, we designed this shelving system that was based on a lattice. The way we used the wood was that we used kind of mortise and tenon joinery and minimized any kind of additional hardware. We recognized the need to add a soft surface in the interior to kind of improve the acoustics of the space. So then we decided that carpet tiles would be a good sustainable solution because they're made out of recycled materials and their modularity helps in easier maintenance. We felt that the office kind of initially used to use fluorescent general lighting as a whole and wasted energy because they covered the windows, but then we realized that by taking out the curtains and making use of the natural lighting within the space that would save a lot of energy, but then adding an LED task light on top of the table for the later hours of the day was enough. Another kind of material that we experimented with in this project is metal rebar that we also find in construction sites. What we did was we needed a kind of a grid system that could be used to create a live green wall. So we implemented this kind of PVC pipe system where it could position, it could hold plant pots that could be changed separately or independently without having to change the entire system. And they were positioned at an angle so that the excess water could be connected at specific spots underneath. So the paint that was used in the office was sustainable as well because it actually had low VOCs and required glass coats to repaint it, and at the same time had chemical qualities that improved the indoor air quality of the entire space. But I'd like to talk to you about the psychological sustainability measures that we took in addition to the environmental sustainability measures. We've introduced provision of a breakout space in the office because now that we have moved into a modern office space where people work on laptops, we needed to provide them an area where they could sit in a much more comfortable position on a softer surface with their laptops on their laps, next to a nice view and a live green wall. So we all know that how greenery kind of improves the indoor quality of a space and influences the mood of the employees within a space, so that we were really adamant about having an actual live greenery that was present in the room, in the office. Another thing was that the change from a separate personal desks to a more communal table. So we used more of the salvaged wood that we found and concrete that was on site that we poured into a tabletop. This allowed to have a communal work table for the four temporary employees and the 2 permanent that promoted kind of communication and interaction. This is an inspirational quote by the late Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, which was a graphic on one of the walls in the room, and it's just a constant reminder for the inhabitants in the room to kind of think about preserving what we have today so that we can save the future generations.
So one of the questions that's often asked is, how does modernity and sustainability work together? Modernity and the mass industrialization that often seems to follow through with it seem to oppose sustainability. However, with newer technology being developed and products entering the market, which have a reduced carbon footprint and are being manufactured ethically, it's making life easier for designers. However, it's time to take a step back. It's time to reassess. It's time to prioritize sustainable values through lifestyle redesign. For example, the raw and rustic finish that you see in the office is actually a byproduct of the fabrication decisions to minimize the treatment of the material, enough to supplement the actual joinery and connection of the materials, but leaving the rest of it raw. So, thank you, and hope you have a nice life.
Hello, my name is I'm the principal designer of Alserkal Make Design Studio. In the year 140 years since Edison has founded the light for us, we have gone under tremendous change. This is a light spectrum, the visible light, as we see it. The main source of light, natural light, is the sunlight, and in today's technology we can just replicate this with the innovation of LED lights. This is a human-centric lighting system where we can innovate all these light colors today with the technology, and it's used since 10 years in the offices all the world. This Valerik's Venn chart shows us what artificial light does for us. It's sleep, productivity, it creates the mood for us, it finances the environment, and with the light in today's cities, as you can see here in Lyon, for example, in Fête de Lumière, which has been carried out for 20 years, 20 more years. 1.5 million people only go to Lyon for the Light Festival. So light brings people. Amsterdam again, light gathers emotions, and people from all over the world. As you have also in here, a lot of people come to Dubai for the light shows in Dubai Mall, but these are artistic lights. Each year, hundreds of artists prepare these lights. Dubai is going under a tremendous development. Once a desert, now becomes, the water is going inside, the technology comes in. Together with the technology, today's sustainable light systems also coming to the city. For example, we are now having our offices here in Dubai Design District, and some of you may have visited this week. We had the Design Week, Dubai Design Week, and light at night made people come there. So before we didn't have this, what is moving us? Design is moving us towards light, making people going out at night and creating you are safe and you feel safe and you go out at night to enjoy the light. We are going to show you some projects that we did. This is a beer factory in Istanbul, converted into, this was operational for 100 years, 1890 to 1990, they produced beer in this factory, and in 2005 we started working on this. While we started, it was in this condition. A lot of work has gone into it for about 15 years. Now you will see it's at the back at Architect School. This has been transformed into many restaurants, show places, art galleries, just like a resemblance of the space that we are in today. It incorporates, it brings people inside. How do people come inside? With the light. But today's technology allows this, and it's a sustainable light. It doesn't change, it doesn't deteriorate, it doesn't fade away. We can have all these light colors. As you can see, we can show light, different lights in it, and people enjoy these atmospheres. You go with families, you go with friends, enjoy the night with your friends out, go out dining. You go to the club inside where there's live shows. All these lights are production of this electric light. Before we didn't have these. 100 years ago, people didn't enjoy these light scenes at all. Even a couple of years ago, we didn't have any kind of colored light in our lives. Now we can see these with the today's technology. Of course, it's design. There's a lot of work going on into it. This is a project we did in Dubai. It took us 7 years to do this project. Interesting thing about this project is that architecturally, the sea was closed to the public in JBR. The architect decided to make an alley which brought people inside the building. This is a big alley you can enter. It's something that you don't fear to enter. It's open to everyone. And you walk through this alley to the sea. And inside there are many functions, restaurants, clubs, shopping, and at night time it becomes totally a different character. Daytime it's a hotel, but nighttime you feel totally something else with the light of it. It's totally planned for people to enjoy it, for different venues. Even you go out to have a dinner or a party, the inside, for example, this alley takes daylight inside, But nighttime, as you can see, we have a colored lighting effect with changes with different light effects. So it invites people inside. We can create different moods for you with light. Thank you so much.
Autism is the fastest growing developmental disability. Sensory processing disorder is the condition that exists when sensory signals are not transformed into appropriate reactions, responses. Our project Sensor is including some therapies that are usually addressed to autism. But since anxiety, stress, panic attack are affecting every one of us, this collection is addressed to everyone who has to cope with the stressful and hectic urban life. This was actually the first generation of our prototypes. Probably someone already saw this video and these images. This is part of a video that we created for a competition. And we couldn't speak about disabilities because companies are actually scared about this word. Actually, there are several products. This is an inflatable jacket that applies deep pressure therapy. So the pressure gives a calming sensation to the wearer. It has an inflatable part that creates pressure, while this somehow is the female version. It's a wearable scarf that you can wear during emotional emergencies, like in this moment. I feel very stressed and I really would like to have it on me. This soft pressure gives you a calming sensation, or at least to some people affected by autism. A biteable necklace. People affected by autism tend to bite everything. And these charms are like sensory toys. So you have to explore the textures and you can play with it. Somehow this was a sort of game, a scarf in which extension there were scents. So even the scents and parts can affect our senses and some reaction to our senses. This is a musical poncho. While moving, you create sounds. You create sounds, or you can capture sounds with these ears. These are kind of cartoonish products, not actually wearable, right? But they were made for a competition, so they were made in 3 months actually. Alongside the main garments, there were some basic garments that with small adjustments that can improve the daily life of people affected by sensory disorders. Then this was the first part of our work. It was the beginning of 2015, and many things happened later on. We got a great exposure, we participated in many competitions, we found a partner who is working with the textile sensors. And we created our startup last year. We are working with several universities in Europe. We were lucky enough to get some funds from the European community, and we are working with autism centers to develop our product. So now you will see the new collection. Although this is the last slide referred to the first part, and this was just the beginning. For the competition, we were inspired by the problems that people are having with their senses, and we try to make something more inclusive. Okay, this looks like funny, but they are always talking about disabilities, and they should be more inclusive, not negative. This is the new collection. So this looks like a normal t-shirt, but inside the t-shirt there are textile sensors. Sensors that are like the sensor of the ECG that you do. You are checking when you're checking your heartbeat. It's the same we check actually, but you don't feel it at all. We are creating a system, so the t-shirt is reading the vital data, heartbeat, breath rate, movement
for the therapist, for example, to understand how the therapy is helping the child affected by autism. So the inflatable jacket that you have seen a few slides ago became a jumper, an inflatable jumper. Here is the t-shirt, and we have a gate that is collecting the data and is sending the data to other parts of the collection. This is the application that is reading the data, and the data at the moment are very important for the therapist that needs to transform the data into a signal, the input that will activate the garment. Activate the garment means that maybe the jacket will inflate by itself. Some people cannot activate the jacket. So this is a t-shirt. So the sensors are embedded inside. You don't see it. You don't see them. You don't feel them. But they are actually observing you. So there you see the ECG that is exactly the same of the traditional one. While wearing this t-shirt, later on our aim is to help parents or the carer of this person to track the situation of this child. Some people cannot speak. There are non-verbal kids. They cannot communicate their problems. And the technology should be invisible in our opinion. We want this product to be neutral because actually the child will try to scratch its garments and they don't have to see. But in the meanwhile, they have to be protected. And we can help. This is a sort of an object which became a sort of toy that is helping communication. Some non-verbal are already using some text to show which is their choice, yes or no. By touching some surfaces, this will happen like this text, or this object will help also through the signals to explain what's happening. And it's an ongoing project. Thank you.
Hello everybody, I'm Hussein. So let's get right to it. Today we're going to talk about social interaction, and let's just define it just so we can get on the same page. It's a process of reciprocal stimulation or response between one or two or many people. It develops competition, interaction, influences social roles and status, and people for social relations. Now that's a very technical definition, but you get the gist. Now we live in a world where you would assume that it's oversaturated with social interaction. We have all these platforms that are invented for us, things like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. So you think that we have social interaction just checked off the list and we don't need to talk about it. But in reality, if you would assume that because of social media interaction, people would choose it over face-to-face interaction, but the numbers haven't been showing that. It's just that what has decreased is the genuine overall well-being that people feel when they interact with one another. So people have been reporting higher levels of anxiety and loneliness, even though we're interacting the same amount. And one of the reasons for this is that, one of the two major reasons is that we're living in an increasingly dense urban context. We're overwhelmed with stimulus. 50% of the world's population now live in cities, and the projections show that that will only increase in the next decade or so. And the second biggest reason for this is that technology provided us with all these platforms for us to get our services, to get our tasks, to get our food delivered from the comfort of our own homes. So you can only surmise that people are not going to be fine-tuned to face-to-face interaction. It would be not the genuine norm, or at least people wouldn't absorb it too much. So just to solidify my point, the iPhone effect is a study that rounded up 100 couples and told them to speak about intimate and non-intimate things. And the couples that had their phone tucked away or hidden reported having higher feelings of empathetic concern for their partner, and vice versa. The narcissistic epidemic is another study, again, just to get my point across. It's a study that collected data from 37,000 students in the US and reported that the narcissistic traits have been rising just as fast as obesity from the 1980s until the present time. And this is largely due to the emphasis on social status and it being a social currency. Now, just because I'm bashing technology and social media, I'm not telling you to go live in Saudi social media and go live in the jungle or something. I'm trying to emphasize a point here that we should all, in our different disciplines, figure out a way to bring back human connection away from technology by technology. Now, what if I tell you that I have a solution? Now, it's a one-dimensional solution because I'm a product designer, so for my way of dealing with things is to just make stuff and see if it works out. But this is just a call to action for people in art, engineers, science, to come up with different solutions to tackle this human interaction problem and this genuine interaction. So let me introduce you to Social Plus. Social Plus is a small brooch wearable device. It's a startup, still in its infancy in Ajman. And essentially, this device would help you maximize the efficiency of social interaction, kind of like a traffic light. You want it to go faster? It doesn't go faster. So it works by essentially you controlling 1 out of 3 possible projections onto the floor to signal to the public whether you're willing to interact. So it's literally a traffic light for social interaction. Now, yeah, we'll talk about your reaction. So you can choose between you want to connect, you're busy, or you're not available. So these are just some early sketches and drawings from our patenting earlier before, and essentially you have a fitting ring, a magnetic fitting ring that would attach to your item of clothing, or throw to your shoe, and a projection unit. And it free flows, so it always points to the ground, no matter your posture, you're sitting in a cafe or walking around, it will always point to the ground. Now something like this, people are not going to just pick up and start using willy-nilly. You know, it's too radical of a change for the way that you behave right now. So we would have to launch it in several different phases, 3 to be exact. And I will talk about the phases when this slide goes away. So phase number 1 would be in a controlled environment, such as the one we are in right now. Conferences, small talks, exhibitions, a place where the demographic, you have a significant number of people that are willing to network with each other. So it's not just the general public. And then you'd see how that would play out, and you would see, you would run a survey, and then if that was to be successful, we can slowly start encroaching on the entertainment industry and start approaching concerts, clubs, bars, again, exhibitions, perhaps. So any kind of entertainment industry. Again, the pattern you see here is that it's a demographic of people that want to socialize in that setting. And my utopian dream is that it would eventually be popular enough and comfortable to people enough that they've been exposed to it, that it would start to be used by the general public, like you and me. So commuting to work, or just on the way to your office, or just walking down the street to buy something. So I'd like you all to just take a moment to just imagine what a world like that would be. Is that a good thing? You know, would it elevate our confidence? Would people have more interactions with people? Because now you know who to talk to, so you're not going to be awkward, you're not going to be nervous, you know who to avoid. And if you have the consent of people, so if you do not want to socialize, you don't have to. So I've done a survey, and it was 50-50. People thought this is more effective. You're encouraging the visible body language. You know, you're increasing empathy because you're viewing the other person's face and so on. And the other 50 to 40% of people were saying that this is too artificial. There's no sense of spontaneity. We'll be too dependent. And who knows? Maybe if I give people this platform, they will all choose to isolate themselves, and no one will want to talk to anybody. So this might be too dependent on tech. But at the end of the day, the point that I'm trying to get across here is that it is one solution. It doesn't have to be the all-time all, but you guys got to stop using this excuse of being selectively social. You know, social interaction is part of our biology, and we should encourage this aspect of it and give it the right emphasis that it deserves in all fields, especially in art and design, because we are the ones that, you know, change the industry after that. So, thanks.
urban architecture that these skyscrapers. So when I was teaching at the University of Hong Kong, I ran a couple of design studios based on looking at really extreme high-rise architecture that we were calling pencil towers, or these tiny footprints, in which we had students surveying the city, trying to look for towers where there was only one apartment per floor. So basically, these are really only found in Hong Kong. They go up to about 30 or sometimes 40 stories with a floor plan of about 400 square feet. So 40-meter, 1, 2, maybe 3-bedroom apartment on a floor plan that's probably about as big or smaller than this building. And what's really amazing about some of them, in the most extreme cases, is that the circulation core, the vertical stairs and elevator, is at times bigger than the actual apartment, as in the case on the left. So part of this is due to the culture of Hong Kong, and that people have grown up in small spaces, that they use the city as a living room. And part of it's due to innovations from the community of developers, like this scissor stair, which wraps 2 means of egress into a kind of double helix, allowing one apartment to have 2 doors to 2 relatively safe ways out. So all of this architecture is affected by culture, by regulation, and we were hunting for examples like this. This is a building in Wan Chai and Star Street, in which the second means of egress is actually in the bathroom through the shower. So a hidden door opens up behind your shower, you can escape if there's a fire, and the other door is locked. This same building, just to give you an example of the sort of prices that these buildings go for, despite the fact that they're very small, this one just sold for $1.73 million last year. This is less than 400 square feet. 40 square meters. So in the studio, we were looking at ways to kind of harness this idea of vertical dwelling, compact living, but also flip it on its head a little bit. So in this example, 2 students decided that they would put all of the mass of the building up high, where developers usually value views going out into the city, so the building shape changes. In this example, the students thought about taking the fire stair, typically at the core of the building, and then flipping it to the outside to create communal space, space that you could attract your neighbor or kind of informal balcony. In the next example, the students were looking at, again, a kind of typical pencil tower, and they linearized it and took each of the rooms and made them into a separate tower. So the living room's stacked into a tower, the bathroom stacked into a tower, and then that is wrapped back into this kind of diagonal structure to hold it all together. Or a simple kind of reevaluation of how units could shift back and forth from story to story, increasing as they go up to the top of the building, so that units get larger balconies than would otherwise be given to them by a developer or the building ordinance. All of these examples are illegal, by the way, in terms of current building code regulation. This one has an idea about changing every apartment on every floor, so that, again, it's not the same apartment for every dweller in the building, that you could have a variety of different family types, social makeup. Spiraling around actually helps the buildings deal with typhoon force winds more easily structurally. And a very extreme scenario in which a 400 or 300 square foot apartment is maybe vertical. So you're actually living in a vertical apartment in a vertical building where each floor is only 10 feet by 10 feet. So you're kind of climbing up to your loft, but it allows you to engage with your neighbors differently on each floor. And this one sort of unfolding from top to bottom is a kind of structural response to a bigger base of the building. But again, it's kind of unfolding in the units creates a lot of outdoor spaces and terraces that happen between units of the core. The last couple of projects are ones that I developed with my office in Hong Kong. This one called the single occupancy strip, in which we unfolded a typical large floor plan and realized that people were actually living along the periphery of the building's neighborhood. So most of our dwelling happens close to the windows. And in Hong Kong, there's actually a regulation that provides developers bonus square footage if they use pop-out big windows. So this was a kind of play on a building rule that put each of the rooms, bathroom, kitchen, living room, office inside of the window, precariously suspending the residents between interior and exterior space. And then these linear apartments could be stacked up on top of each other and then stuck to the walls of industrial buildings, commercial buildings around the city to actually provide additional affordable housing, which is a huge problem in Hong Kong, as well as Dubai. This is another proposal in which that same super thin unit is wrapped around a really efficient scissor stair core, so you have a bathroom, an elevator, kitchen, and then again, each of the windows provides bedroom space or a closet or something around this time of 360. These last two projects and a little bit more of my work is on exhibition this week and through the end of next week at the American University in Sharjah, where I'm teaching architecture and interiors. Thank you very much.
That's a wrap. Thank you so much for all the presenters tonight. You've been wonderful. Our next PechaKucha is supposed to be in February. And thank you, UAE Modern, for organizing, putting everything together. Great lineup and very interesting. Thank you everyone for coming.